Hey guys, this is Cole with Omega Customs coming to you today with another showcase video. Twice in the same week, 2 showcases in the same week. I just did my Arrow showcase yesterday when I said that I wouldn't get this video out for another week or 2. Wow, I gave myself way too much leeway because it's out and I am super happy. I was able to finish these minifigures last night, and let me stop right now and give a shout out to my Arrow video. I was super happy with how that video turned out and how that custom turned out, and so if you have not seen that, go check that out. But I was super happy with how these minifigures turned out and how I got them out so fast into a video. Last night I actually finished my Flash minifigure, worked really hard, got that all done. I actually painted my entire Firestorm last night. Yeah, and you'll understand how that was possible and why I did that when I get to him. But without further ado, let's just get started. Alright, starting off our minifigures here, we have Firestorm, the newer Firestorm. Honestly, I wasn't going to make this minifigure because, you know, we just saw the release of the new Firestorm in our latest episode this past Tuesday. And, you know, it was like, I watched the episode and loved it, and I was like, I gotta make this minifigure to go in my showcase. But then as I'm making it, it actually turned out I'm like, there really isn't that much to this guy, and I was kind of disappointed in how it turned out because it really is lacking a bunch of detail because there isn't much detail on him. I'll give you the 360 right now and you can kind of see what I mean. Just rather lacking is how I felt. But I was happy with him because I felt like I got across the idea of Firestorm. Like I really showed him, and I keep referring to him as Firestorm because I really forgot what his actual name is. I can't remember, and I really don't care right now. I'm sure we'll find out a lot more later. But I wanted to make him, and I made him, and I'm happy I did, but like you'll see with Jay Garrick, there really wasn't that much detail I could pack into him because he's so simple. I did, after I made it, it really didn't look that good, so you can kind of see how much shine he gets. He's so glossy. That's because I was like, this isn't looking that great. It's not bland, it's pretty bland, so I went over it with some clear nail polish to give it kind of a glossy shine, and that really actually kind of made it better. It does look a little better than it did before, and you can see the particle splicer on him there. That was actually really hard to do because it was in such detail, and if I could get him in closer so you could see, I would, but you can't really because he'll get blurry. That's not just a red dot in the center here. There is some like dashes and stuff, lines. It's not really just a dot, and then goes to the back. I gave him these fire pieces, and so just as accessories, but you know, he was already bland as it was, so I was like, I'm just gonna make him already on fire. So I painted his eyes to look like they were glowing, and they are not all yellow. There is orange in the center, if you can actually see that. And I thought it actually made it look like he was glowing and on fire, but you can't really tell in this video, so I'm kind of disappointed at that point. But I was happy with the face because, you know, I don't really paint Lego faces very well, but I painted him and I was really happy. And I'll have you guys know, I actually just painted him last night. This guy had so little detail, I could paint him in one night. That's pretty surprising. But again, there's really not that much to tell about him yeah, that's Firestorm. So let's get on to our next minifigure, Jay Garrick. Alright, and on to our second minifigure, the first of our two Flashes here, since, you know, Jay Garrick called the Flash in the alternate world. But, you know, you only see him, so far in Season 2, you only see him in his Flash outfit once, but I decided I had to make him because he's kind of, you can tell he's going to be significant to the show, and so I just made him in his Flash outfit. Honestly, I don't like this character in this show. I don't like when somebody brings in another guy who has same characteristics or uniqueness, special powers, whatever, as the main character of the show, because I think it takes away from the significance of the main character. And that's what they did with this guy. Is since he was the Flash of a different world, it took away the significance of Barry Allen as the Flash, and it really annoyed me. But I had to make him because, you know, he's a significant character. So let's get into him, and we'll start with the full 360 view. Nothing on his back, as you can see, because honestly I couldn't find any reference pictures to his back. So his back is blank. But I was, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. Not much on his front. That lightning bolt, though, that was pretty hard to outline in black, and yeah, there's really not much to talk about his front torso. I was pretty happy with it. No printing on the legs, because again, there wasn't really anything on his legs in the movie, so I just kind of left those blank as well. I'll take off the helmet so you can see his head outside of shadow. I used that newer Stormtrooper type face that we see in the new battle packs and stuff. I kind of liked it because when the helmet's on, I liked the kind of jawline pieces, and I don't know, I thought it looked kind of like Jay Garrick a little bit. I mean, he's kind of got a smirk on. I don't know, I just liked it, and I painted his eyebrows brown and just left it that way. For his helmet, wow, this was the hardest thing yet. I used one of those new hard hats with the light on the front from the Lego City line, and I sanded off that light piece, and then I sanded off all of the little bumps all over it, and it turned out okay. I'm not all that happy with it because it's still kind of bumpy and rough. But I was like, you know what, the heck with it, I'm just leaving it. And since I had to sand all that off, I did paint over it again in silver. You can tell there's Lego's nice shiny silver, and there's my nice shiny silver. So it looked okay. And then I did the same thing as you'll see on my Flash. Because I took that plastic from action figure plastic, and I made these wings, and believe me, it was so hard to glue these wings on. I mean, as you can tell, they aren't angled in the same direction either. But boy, was that a pain. That's probably the hardest thing about any of these minifigures that you will see. This takes the cake, making this helmet. And honestly, I'm probably not even gonna use this minifigure like ever again, because I don't like the character, and you know, it was just one of those things that I had to make for the showcase. But yeah, and that's really all I have for my Jay Garrick the Flash. And let's get on to our next minifigure, my personal favorite, Barry Allen. Alright, and here we got the man of the hour, the Flash himself, Barry Allen. Wow, this is what really started my DC superhero customs, because I saw the mask, and I'll get into how I made that in a minute, but I saw that mask in my collection, and I was just like, I bet I could make that into a Flash mask, and so I just started to try it. I wasn't really, sure I was gonna make it into a full custom, but after I made that mask, I was like, oh, this is real. This looks like the Flash. I've got to make the whole thing. So one thing led to another, and I made the entire Flash. And then I was like, why don't I just go make the Arrow while I'm at it? And then I made the Arrow and was able to finish him actually before I completely finished the Flash, so it was kind of funny. But you've already seen my Arrow custom video, and if you haven't seen that, please go check that out. It's on my channel. It was the last video that I did. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video, but yeah, go check that out. Again, I'll just give shout outs to that because honestly I've gotten a lot better with how I film my customs, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm really excited to do this video like this. But let's just get into the Flash himself. Give you a full 360 view of him. And wow, I was just so proud of how I did this. Alright, so getting right into him, we'll start with the head because I mentioned that mask earlier. And I'll just take that off. This mask gets blurry. Is actually if you guys kind of recognize it, maybe it's the golden mask of that Atlantis Guardian guy from the Atlantis series. It had a big weird fin on it, and then these weird teeth going in this half moon shape for the mouth of a mask. And I saw that and I was like, those eye holes, man, the openings for the eyes, they just look kind of like the Flash's mask, and I'm like, I bet I could sand that down and make it a Flash mask. So that's what I did. I had to like really sand this like a lot, because if you guys have this piece or have seen it, it actually comes out from the eyes and then goes like back into them, so I had to sand that to round it. And then it doesn't have this shape here, so I actually had to sand it off and cut it into that shape. But it turned out amazing. And then I used that plasticky sheet that you get with action figures, and I cut out these lightning bolts, and believe me, those were the hardest thing to do probably on this minifigure. And I'm sorry guys, they're not the accurate shape of his lightning bolts on his ears, but I felt they were pretty good, so I just left them. And they weren't looking that great just as gold, so I decided to put a black outline around them, and then that just made them pop all the more, especially once I did the ring around each lightning bolt. And while I have his mask off, you can see the Barry Allen face. I'm not that good at painting faces right now, so he does look a little weird. That one eyebrow is just kind of sticking up there. But I was kind of happy with it because with the mask on, I thought it looked pretty good. You can see that entire face. And by the way, for those of you who noticed this little piece under his neck there, the neck brace piece, I took that off of one of those like clip pieces that goes on a minifigure. It goes on their neck and then it hangs down over their back. You've all seen one. I'm trying to see if I have an example handy around. Found one. It was like this. And I just sanded it down and sanded off all the other stuff and painted it red and put it on his neck. That is nothing to do with the actual Flash. It happens to be that when I used this head because it wasn't a blank head. It was, you know, it had all this different stuff to it. There was actually a full Lego face on the other side of it that I had to paint over. But when I made it, I didn't realize that I had used it for a different, or was going to use it for a different custom before that never happened. And I had sanded off part of his neck for whatever reason. So his neck was really short. And rather than have to paint another head, because the red color that I use is specially mixed, and that would have taken forever to mix it again. So rather than paint another head, I just painted a neck brace piece that I think works pretty good. It looks seamless, and of course now you're all probably going to be looking at it because I just pointed it out to you. You may have already seen it before. It might have stood out too much, but I've gotten used to it, so I don't even really notice it anymore. But yeah, other than the lightning bolts on his helmet, the hardest part was that lightning bolt on the chest, because the white paint that I use is like really gloopy, and it sticks together and chunks up really easily. So painting around it, around the lightning bolt, wasn't very good, because, you know, originally I painted the lightning bolt on, or originally I painted white, and then I painted the lightning bolt, and then I painted black around the lightning bolt, but I smudged the black a little and had to paint over it again with white, and that's where it got tricky and really annoying. So that happened, and yeah, that's his lightning bolt. The rest, I really took the design actually from the pictures of the minifigure, or of the Flash from the TV show, which I have seen the whole TV show and all of the season 2 episodes so far. I'm really happy with that show right now. So I took inspiration from those pictures and from Michael MGF's version of this Flash. His, of course, is a little better using the actual Flash cowl, but I felt like mine came pretty close to his, and actually, you'll see, I did paint the legs. That is another color red on the legs, as is on the helmet and this part right here. But I painted the legs, and that's really tricky because I had to sand down the sides. I had to take off each leg and sand it down here so that the paint wouldn't scrape as you posed his legs, and that can be really tricky, but it turned out really good, and I was super happy that I did that. So yeah, and then going to his back here, not much there. I did paint these lines on, and honestly that little V right there was not painted on. That was part of the piece, and I was just like, I'm not erasing anymore, because I had to erase like all of the printing on him, and I'm like, I'm just leaving it. So yeah, that's really all there is to talk about Barry Allen and his Flash outfit. Thanks for watching all the way to this point, and let's get into the outro. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Again, I was so proud of how these minifigures turned out, and I can't wait to start doing more customs. And if you guys have any ideas of custom minifigures that you want to see me make, comment about those, and if it is possible, I will make them. Alright, so if it's something I like, then it'll probably definitely be made, and if it's something where I have the pieces and it's just possible to make it, you know, I might just make it anyways. So comment about different minifigures that you want to see. I also really want to give a shout out to Owl Clone Productions. Sorry if I really messed that up. I'm so I don't have it like sitting here where I can read it off the top of my head, but he was my first subscriber, and now we're at 300 subscribers, and I wanted to thank him for all his support, because he's really been supportive of all my videos, and because he was the first one and started it all, And so I just wanted to thank him and thank everybody else for getting me this far and being supportive of me showing these customs, and just thank you. So leave a comment for which minifigures you want to see. Like this video if you really liked the minifigures and the filming of it. Again, I'm really happy with how my filming is turning out. And subscribe for more videos like this, or mocks, or set reviews, analysis videos, you name it almost, and I'll have it. So subscribe for more. Thanks again. This was Cole with Omega Customs. Goodbye.